All right, folks, we're about to dive into a heaping serving of royal affairs today, so you know the drill. Get cozy, whip up your favorite drink, and let's get our daily dose of regal happenings. First up, we have Catherine, the Princess of Wales, who, despite some pretty horrendous weather, made an unexpected entrance at Wimbledon to cheer for Britain's top-seeded player, Katie Boulter. And boy, did her arrival thrill the royal enthusiasts. When it comes to Wimbledon, Catherine's appearance in the royal box is something to look forward to every year. And this time, she turned up the charm with a crisp white pleated skirt and a mint green blazer. Honestly, is there any hue she can't pull off? So there she was at Court 18, eagerly awaiting the match between Britain's own Katie Boulter and Australia's Daria Saville. Unfortunately, Mother Nature had other plans, and the game was put on pause due to a downpour. But the suspense doesn't end there, folks. With the game stuck at the first set standing 5-6, guess who showed up to keep Kate company in the royal box? None other than tennis maestro Roger Federer, along with his wife, Mirka. This rendezvous followed a touching tribute to Federer on center court, celebrating his illustrious career post-retirement last year. Given Catherine's role as the patron of the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club, her presence at Wimbledon is practically a tradition. And it's safe to say this probably won't be her only visit to the tournament this year. But let's get to the controversial part, shall we? It appears many tennis aficionados were left fuming because Federer's special tribute didn't make it to their TV screens. Instead, the broadcasting behemoth BBC stuck to showing Carlos Alcaraz's match, much to the viewers' chagrin. Despite Federer's legacy of winning 8 men's titles at Wimbledon and the anticipation for his return to the All England Club, his tribute, a short montage followed by a grand entry to a roaring ovation on the center court, was sidelined for a first-round match. Alcaraz, despite being the top seed and the world #1, couldn't quell the upset viewers who felt the BBC could have at least momentarily shifted their coverage to honor Federer. Although a recording of the tribute eventually popped up on BBC Sports Twitter, the live TV experience was sorely missed. The tribute was only available on BBC iPlayer, before being broadcast on BBC Two over an hour later during a break in Alcaraz's match. It's fair to say that the decision to not air the tribute live has left a bitter taste in many mouths, considering Federer's colossal status in the tennis world. Quite a misstep, don't you think? But we're not stopping here, folks. We're heading up north to Scotland, where King Charles has been partaking in the time-honored Ceremony of the Keys, a key event, pun intended, and traditional opener to Holyrood Week for the royal family. It's shaping up to be quite a momentous week for King Charles in his role as monarch, with his second coronation set for Wednesday, July 5th. This ceremony is deeply rooted in tradition, making it a crucial part of the royal schedule. All right, as we continue our royal journey, we find ourselves in Scotland for the beginning of Royal Week. You see, there's this charming tradition. When the monarch arrives, they are given a set of keys by the city's elected officials, symbolizing the monarch's rule. But here's the twist. King Charles hands back those keys, essentially saying, "I may be your king, but I'm entrusting the care of this city to you, the people." Now, isn't that an intriguing blend of power and humility? And the people certainly turned out in droves to welcome King Charles ahead of his coronation. Come Wednesday, he'll be attending a ceremony of thanksgiving at the iconic St. Giles Cathedral. And that's where he'll be presented with the honors of Scotland. Essentially, the nation's crown jewels. Talk about a momentous occasion. But Charles didn't spend all his time in ceremonial duties. He made time to visit several locales like Canali, House of Bonus, and Falkirk, meeting representatives from various charities, including his own initiative, the Princess Trust. He even planted a tree to celebrate the centenary of the estate becoming a public park. And folks, the king met the bonny fair Queen Lexi Scotland, clad in her regal robes and crown, an adorable and touching encounter indeed. So let's fast forward to Wednesday, when Charles will be bestowed with the honors of Scotland at St. Giles Cathedral. The service promises to be a melange of time-honored Scottish traditions and fresh additions. Picture this. Music composed especially for the day, a psalm being sung in Gaelic, and passages from the New Testament read in Scots. The sermon will be delivered by Reverend Sally Foster Fulton, the moderator of the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland. To cap off the service, she'll also give a blessing. But wait, there's more. Among those participating are violinist Nicola Benedetti and Olympic rower Dame Catherine Granger, who will carry the new Elizabeth sword, replacing the traditional sword of state. 5 new musical pieces, including Paul Muller's Balmoral Flourishes, will be performed by the state trumpeters of the Household Cavalry. The centerpiece of the ceremony, the presentation of the scepter, crown, and the Elizabeth sword to the king. This new sword, named in honor of the late Queen Elizabeth, replaces the current sword of state gifted by Pope Julius to James IV in 1507, which has become too fragile for use. Exciting, right? A brand new tradition, a brand new sword, ready to be passed down to Prince William and Prince George. King Charles's coronation in Scotland is gearing up to be quite the spectacle, folks. 3 days of music, a concert-beating retreat, and the military musical spectacular, Orb and Scepter. Imagine the combined sounds of the masked bands of the Household Division, masked pipes and drums, and the King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery. An incredible celebration for King Charles's coronation. But there's no rest for the royal couple. King Charles and Queen Camilla have a hectic schedule in Scotland this week, leading up to their coronation on Wednesday. Yet their spirits remain high. They've even found time to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the Royal Infirmary of Edinburgh's joining the NHS. Meeting staff and patients alike, the royal couple added another meaningful chapter to their visit. All right, let's shift gears a little bit. Now picture this: King Charles and Queen Camilla cutting into a commemorative cake at an afternoon tea event hosted by the Elderly Meaningful Activity Center, which does amazing work helping patients exercise and stay active. This was part of their visit to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Royal Infirmary of Edinburgh's affiliation with the NHS. And guess what? As always, they seem to be thoroughly enjoying themselves. But the royal couple's itinerary doesn't stop there. On they move to the Palace of Holyrood House in Edinburgh, unfazed by the inclement weather. You see, they had an important task at hand, inspecting the new Jubilee Gates. These newly installed additions are part of the Holyrood Week celebrations, and they carry with them a whole lot of symbolism. I mean, we're talking about a golden plaque and a gate adorned with 6 emblems, including a thistle, Scotland's traditional emblem. Talk about making a statement. To commemorate the moment, Roderick Uquart, moderator of the High Constables, presented the king with a leather-bound book detailing the history of Holyrood House. Now, that's a gift worthy of a king. The new gates were initially commissioned to honor the late Queen's Jubilee last year, and even with the drab weather, it's evident that King Charles and Queen Camilla were over the moon to be there. On a style note, Queen Camilla was quite the sight in a chic beige trench coat worn over a green floral dress. Quite the ensemble to defy the dreary weather. And let's not forget, we've all got the coronation on Wednesday to look forward to. Now, doesn't that sound thrilling? And now, folks, we veer towards a different royal duo, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Rumor has it that they've hit a bit of a rough patch, or as some might say, their flop era. They seem to be blaming everyone but themselves for their misfortunes. But hold your horses, there could be a silver lining. Word on the street is that Prince Harry might have a new project lined up with Netflix, a documentary to be filmed in Africa. Now that sounds promising. Remember a while back when there was a rumor about the couple flying to South Africa? The plan was for Meghan to teach local women about safe birthing practices. We're back to Harry and Meghan, and the irony is palpable. Reports suggested that Meghan, who faced a considerable amount of skepticism regarding her own childbirths, was headed to South Africa to teach women about safe birthing practices. Well, let's just say the jury's still out on that one. According to an insider at Netflix who spoke with Page Six, an idea of a documentary on Africa from Harry is one of the few proposals from the Sussexes that has been warmly received by the streaming giant. The documentary would revolve around Harry's love for the continent, its people, and its wildlife, though no further details have been revealed. The couple's previous plans of working on individual projects might actually materialize this time around. There's also buzz about them working on Bad Manners, a prequel to Charles Dickens's Great Expectations. However, nothing is set in stone yet, and with a writer's strike underway in Los Angeles, the couple may be struggling to get the project off the ground. Netflix has confirmed that Heart of Invictus is definitely happening, although no official release date has been set. The rumor mill suggests that Netflix is trying to justify the hefty contract they awarded the Sussexes back in 2020, which is supposedly worth $100 million. But here's the twist. The contract is rumored to be on shaky ground, with whispers that Netflix isn't planning on renewing it when it expires in 2025. Harry and Meghan are facing the crunch time with just 18 months left on the clock, and they really need a hit. Their earlier endeavors, such as Live Till the Lead and Archetypes, were met with lackluster reception, and they're facing criticism for being lazy and talentless in Hollywood. The odds are stacked against them, and they desperately need a win. And to that end, they're reportedly working hard to secure an Emmy nomination for their docuseries with Netflix, with WME pulling all the stops to make it happen. However, the couple's unpopularity within the industry might just be the roadblock they cannot bypass. An Emmy nomination or a win could indeed be a game changer for their future in the industry. There's been a lot of chatter about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry recently, particularly following some pictures of them strolling around an office building in Santa Barbara. The theories are as juicy as they are wild. Some insist it wasn't the couple in the photos at all, but rather body doubles. The speculation is rife, with certain quarters even suggesting that the same body doubles were used at the 4th of July parade. Let's just say, I find this theory hard to swallow. While Harry and Meghan have often been at the center of controversy, the idea of them employing body doubles on speed dial feels a touch too far-fetched. I'm convinced that it was the couple themselves, not doubles, in the 4th of July parade, and I believe the same applies to the recent photographs in question. It's not unusual for celebrities to stage photographs to some degree, and it wouldn't be a stretch to think Harry and Meghan might be doing the same to promote a particular image or narrative. The loved-up, united front they often display could well be a meticulously constructed illusion, but that doesn't mean they're substituting themselves with lookalikes. The reality might be more mundane. Perhaps they arrived in separate cars and went their separate ways after the photo shoot. He to his hotel, she to her home. The narrative that unfolds in these photos is intriguing and at times a tad bewildering. The captions claimed that the couple was holding hands, laughing, and sharing a joyful moment together. However, the actual photos paint a different picture. There were no hand-holding shots, and Prince Harry certainly didn't look like he was laughing. Instead, it was Meghan, seemingly smiling at an unheard joke, or, more likely, smiling at the camera. The discrepancy between the photo captions and the reality they showed was glaringly noticeable. The man behind the lens for these photos was none other than Carl Larson, a well-known paparazzo from Backgrid. Larson's involvement in this adds an extra layer of intrigue. Not only does he seem to be Meghan's go-to photographer these days, but he also had a contentious history with Meghan's father, Thomas Markle, the same man who had a public falling out with Meghan, which was even documented in a YouTube series, was now seemingly on her payroll. Another interesting point of note is the apparent disappearance of Meghan's lobster claw grip on Harry. This clinging gesture has been a prominent feature in their previous paparazzi photos, but it was noticeably absent in the recent ones. Instead, Harry seemed to be the one following Meghan, not quite able to keep up. This shift in their dynamic may remind some of an awkward moment during a basketball game where Meghan appeared to publicly rebuff Harry when they were featured on the kiss cam. It almost seemed as if she was intentionally embarrassing him. Indeed, the behavior observed in the recent photos and public events involving Meghan and Harry can be interpreted as fitting within certain patterns often identified in situations where one person is controlling or manipulating the relationship. As outsiders, however, it's essential to remember that we only see fragments of their lives, and our interpretations can be influenced by the specific lens through which we view these events. The absence of Meghan's lobster claw grip on Harry in recent photos is a notable change from their usual dynamic. This change, coupled with the incident at the basketball game, might be interpreted as an attempt to assert dominance or control. Harry appearing to follow Meghan, rather than walking beside her as an equal, can also be seen as an indication of power dynamics within their relationship. The fact that Meghan hasn't been seen wearing her wedding ring for some time adds to this speculation. Jewelry, especially rings, have significant symbolic value and are often used as markers of relationship status. Its absence may suggest a change in the state of their relationship, although it could also simply be a personal choice unrelated to their marital status. The recent photos of them near an office building in Santa Barbara, which seem to be staged, further fuel these speculations. They may have staged these photos to generate some positive press amid recent reports of them returning the keys to Frogmore Cottage. The images could be part of a narrative they're trying to create, one that depicts them as a strong, united, and loving couple. While these interpretations are plausible based on the available information, they are still speculative. The true nature of their relationship and the motivations behind their actions remain known only to Meghan and Harry. Their lives are undeniably under constant scrutiny, and it's essential to approach such speculations with a measure of caution and respect for their privacy. It seems like you have done a detailed analysis of the recent events involving Meghan and Harry, and you're right that there has been quite a bit of speculation about the nature of their relationship and the reasons behind their actions. As for the theories of a body double or photoshopped images, these are indeed intriguing possibilities. However, without solid proof, they remain speculative. The use of body doubles is quite rare and typically used for security reasons. It's also worth noting that in the age of advanced technology, photos can indeed be manipulated, but such acts are generally quickly debunked by experts in the field. Moreover, you mentioned that they haven't sued certain individuals like Tom Bauer, Valentine Lowe, and Jason Knopf. While it's true that legal actions are often taken to dispute false claims, the absence of such actions doesn't necessarily confirm the truthfulness of these claims. Lawsuits can be complex, expensive, and time-consuming, and public figures often choose to ignore rumors rather than engage in legal battles. You've raised some interesting points about Meghan and Harry's relationship and their public image. The viewers of your video would undoubtedly appreciate your insights and the open-ended question you leave for them to ponder. It's essential to stimulate conversation and allow for differing opinions. Remember, while speculations can make for engaging content, they should be presented as such and not stated as facts without concrete evidence. Thanks for sharing your analysis, and I look forward to your next video discussion.